All right. All right, doctor. All right, Ms. Frank. I want you to start off, man, just by telling me again what it is about being a security guard that you most enjoy.
Like I said, being there to help people,
Mm-hmm.
being that almost like a first responder.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Back in Bella Vista, we had a incident where a female and her daughter was fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and the mom was kind of distraught. She was upset. So as me and my partner walked up, she ran out the apartment and was like, I'm gonna call the police. Call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner heard it. So we walked over and said, what's going on? What's the problem? And when she was like, me and my daughter just had to fight. We had to fight. She hit me. Like, okay. I'm like, okay, who's the leaseholder? Who's the leaseholder? She said, I am. Okay, well, this is simple. Daughter, you gotta go. You can't be on property. She was like, why is that? Because I pay rent here. Okay, well, thing is, you're not a leaseholder. So we put our rent roll that we get every day.
Mm-hmm.
Verified that, hey, mom was the leaseholder,
Mm-hmm.
even though you did pay rent here. This apartment is in her name. So right now, you're technically trespassing because the leaseholder does not want you in the property.
Mm-hmm.
So that solved two problems. One, the daughter didn't have to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, mother got what she wanted.
Okay.
Another situation we had was guy's house got broken into, and they almost stole everything of value they can carry out.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy was upset. He was ticked.
Right.
So he was walking around with his .38 revolver,
Mm-hmm.
his M16 pistol, M4 AR pistol,
Mm-hmm.
and a 22. He was looking for the guy. He knew that who the guy was.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, then my partner walked up, and we were like, okay, do we need to draw him? Do we not need to draw him? Of course, we didn't draw him because we didn't know he was a victim or the assailant.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, man, somebody just broke into my house. Okay. But why are you carrying around so much stuff? Oh, because I want to go get this guy. All right, well, this is what you do. You got to think about this. You walk over to his apartment where he stays with a weapon, talking about getting somebody. You just created. You just
Escalated.
not only escalated. You actually
Premeditated.
sit there and you committed a crime.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, so what am I gonna do, man? What am I gonna do? I'm like, did you call the police? Did you file a report? You were like, yeah, I called them. 30 minutes ago. They ain't showed up yet. All right, brother. Well, let's walk back to your apartment. See what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Walked him back. Had him put all this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
They checked to make sure he put all this stuff up.
Right.
And then sat there and waited till the police got there. Yeah, they took a little long, but we stopped him from going to jail with the guy that robbed this place.
Right. So that's great, man. That's great. So you saying that your decision making is one of the important things that you enjoy about being a security guard? Okay, all right. That's what I'm talking about. So this is what we're going to do, okay? We're going to move on to our next little phase. We're going to talk about this exam right here that you just took, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to talk about the answers. And again, I just wanted to see where your natural instincts and your natural ability to understand the law and the use of deadly force and things of that nature, because you know, in carrying a firearm, we have to understand the law, okay, and when not to use deadly force or whatever the case may be as security guards and as professionals, okay. We also need to know what is considered to be excessive force, okay. So all of these things we're going to be evaluating. All of these things we're going to be checking out your reflexes, your decision-making process, just to ensure that you are capable of handling the responsibilities and the duties and accountability of carrying a firearm. Okay?
Yes,
All right, so let's start off first with, again, this test right here. So what I'm going to do real quick is go ahead and grade it just to see where you are as far as the law and your knowledge of the law in everything. All right.
Yes,
Was there any part of this particular exam that that was more difficult to you than others?
Basically, when it came down to homeowners insurance, the question about drug and alcohol rehab,
Uh-huh.
and that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. -8. That's not bad at all. So that'll be 16. So that'll be 84. Not bad. Okay. 84%. Okay. So let's go back. You only miss 8. Okay. And everything. So which is real good, which is 84%. All right. Of the understanding of the law and the use of deadly force and the carrying of a firearm. All right. So when we look at this exam right here, let's talk about the ones you missed. Okay. You missed number 3. All right. Number 3 says the most popular stance to use by shooters when firing a handgun is, you put none of the above. Okay. There's 2 basic stances that we're going to cover, all right, in this assessment in the firearm, and that is the Weaver stance and the isosceles stance. Okay. So the answer should have actually been C, is the Weaver and the isosceles. Both of these stances brings about a tactical stability, all right, so that you can gain control in your body, your breathing, your stability in you employing that firearm. Okay, so these are the most popular of the stances. All right, now you know in the military we was trained how to shoot from different positions. Okay, we was taught to shoot from the kneeling position, the prone position, the seated position, from the foxhole and everything else. Now I'm going to tell you, sometimes in some instances you're going to have to fire your firearm in awkward positions. Okay, so we're going to cover some of these things as well. Okay, but the 2 most popular is the Weaver and the isosceles. All right, we're going to cover that though, but it's not bad. Number 4, it says that a good shooting stance is described as, and you put number A, a solid, stable platform which can be fired with accurate shots. Okay. Now the answer was actually D, It not only was it A, you got it part right, okay, but it was also C, where the shoulders and the waist is squared, all right, with the thread of your support is on your feet evenly. You understand what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about the stances and all of those good things. That goes back to understanding your body postures and all of that good things. Okay, so that's not bad, not bad at all. Then all the way down to 21 was your next one that you missed. Like I said, you did excellent. To be honest with you. All right, 21. It says in determining when to use deadly force, the phrase "Am I there yet?" pertains to. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, okay? You put number D. D says, is my best option to flee. All right? So the correct answer was B. Has the level of fear risen to the level that deadly force is justified? Okay? Is my level of fear risen to the level of force, deadly force, that is justified? All right. And again, we're going to cover all of these things, all right, in more depth, all right, to understand when and when you cannot employ or use your firearm. Okay. So we're going to talk about all those things. Number 27 is the next one that you missed. It says, when shooting, should you practice breathing control or respiratory pause because it's, or it says when you shooting, you should practice breathing control and respiratory pause because it, you put D, all of the above. The answer is actually C, helps you to minimize your body movement. And we're going to go through that in our drills and everything as well. All right, we're going to show you those things. The next one was 37. When you look at number 37, okay, it says the primary two causes of gun accidents. Okay, the primary two causes of gun accidents, you said negligence and sanity. Okay, now what the two primary causes is ignorance and carelessness, the lack of knowledge, all right, and then not being responsible, all right. It's carelessness, okay? So that answer actually should have been A, all right? And like again, we're going to cover all of these things because we want to make sure that you totally understand your obligations and your responsibilities in carrying this firearm, okay? Be it on duty or even in the civilian sector or off duty or whatever the case may be, okay? You have to know the law. You have to know when and when not to shoot. You have to know what is deadly force and all of these things, okay? All right, you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so then number 38, it says, what should you consider before using deadly force? All right, what should you consider before using deadly force? All right, you put none of the above, all right, but the answer is actually C. The answer is both A and B, and A says, does the perpetrator does the perpetrator have access to kill or injure me? Okay, and then has your level of fear risen to the level that deadly force is justifiable?
Okay, now, sorry, I had a question. I had a little concern with this one.
Yeah.
Especially when I was doing security at Bella Vista.
Mm-hmm.
We had a couple incidents where the person had access to a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have, from where we was when we came into the building,
Mm-hmm.
to the room, he was sitting right there, so he had access.
Right.
And of course, he could have killed me or injured me there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we didn't walk in there with guns drawn, of course. Then on B, has your level of fear risen to the level that deadly force is justifiable? There's been a couple of times where we walked into the apartment and we were scared.
Right.
Right. Pretty much,
Yeah, in fear of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
But it didn't justify us. To us, it didn't justify us, drawing a weapon or pulling our batons. We just had to be a little bit careful where we.
No, I understand that. Okay, all of these are decisions that we have to process in a matter of milliseconds. Okay, in a matter of milliseconds. And as a armed guard and as a firearm owner or user operator, okay, we have to make sure that we are very sound in the decision-making process to know what is a threat to our life or seriously bodily injury, okay, and what is not, okay? So every situation is different, of course, all right? And you have to take each situation as they come, okay? So now, if someone has, and we're going to go through some situations and things of that nature, all right? But you have to understand that you have to be prepared to defend, number one, but you also have to be prepared to be justified in your defense, if that makes sense to you.
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, all right? So we're going to go more in depth in that. Number 43. Number 43 states, if a permit holder, okay, is carrying and observed a law enforcement in any restaurant or bar taking a sip of alcohol beverage or one beer, will they lose their permit? All right, and yes, you already know that. You already know that anytime you're on duty with a firearm or on duty period, you cannot consume any alcohol.
No,
all right, and you know that if you're off duty and you have your firearm, you cannot consume any alcohol while you have your firearm. Okay, so they will lose their permit. All right.
Now,
Uh-huh.
I don't mean to cut you. I don't mean to stop you.
No, you fine.
The person losing their permit, are we talking about the permit holder or law enforcement officer? Because
No, they're observed by a law enforcement.
I misread that.
Yeah.
I thought they walk inside of a bar.
No. They are observed by a law enforcement officer. Okay.
Yeah, I misread that.
All right. So it's just like you, somebody, if you on duty, if you carrying that firearm, and you come out of a convenience store with a beer in your hand, and they see you pop that top and take a sip of that beer, okay, you can lose your license because you cannot consume absolutely no alcohol while carrying a firearm, on duty or off duty. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's what that is saying. All right? And then the last one that you missed was 49. All right? 49 says, if you experience a problem on the range, all right, this is what we're going to talk about too. You should do what? That answer actually should have been D. You should turn and signal your instructor, which is going to be me. Drop the gun immediately, keep it in a safe location, and then keeping the gun pointed down range, and raise your hand to support.
Hey, so I actually marked D.
Oh, I'm sorry. You actually marked D?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, I apologize, man. Yeah, it was actually C. Just keep the gun pointed in a safe direction and raise your hand for support. All right. The reason why you don't drop your gun immediately, okay, is because it may be what they call a what?
It may be a squib load.
Yeah, not a squib load.
You're
You're in the neighborhood. You're in the neighborhood. It may be a hang fire.
Yes.
A hang fire, to where the round don't go off immediately, like a cook-off almost when you throwing a grenade. You know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like that, okay? And you never turn around with a loaded gun. You always keep that weapon pointed in a safe direction, okay? So the answer should have been keeping the gun pointed down range and raise your hand for support, okay? All right, so we're gonna talk about this here in 1 second, all right?
Yes, sir.
Did all of that make sense to you?
Yes, sir. Make perfect sense.
Excellent, man, excellent.